Hello everyone, this is Melissa with Enchanted Emerald bringing you a progress report for the air signs. And so this is a mid-year review looking at how far you've come so far. We are at the midpoint of this year, 2022. And where are you headed going into the next 6 months? So June through December, okay? So my air signs, we've got Libra, Gemini, Aquarius here on deck. And so really it's time to take a look at things and take stock. How far are you in terms of meeting your goals? Did you set an intention for the year? Did you come up with your key word for the year? What was your word? And what does that look like for you? How is it playing out for you so far this year, right? Revisiting the New Year's resolution, if that's your thing. So stepping into the energy here, of course, with this January through June of 2022, really feeling like your whole first 6 months of this year has been more like a tower moment, right? And so I'm feeling as though you have come into a space where you're feeling like things are kind of falling apart. But of course, there's a reminder here that, you know, things do have to fall apart so that they can fall back into place, fall together, and a new and improved, a different way, a different version, right? And so as things kind of come crumbling down, we're left with a new, well, maybe even an old foundation, right? Because you are still you at your core. And so you're building from that foundation, rebuilding things in a new and improved version of yourself, right? So we have out of the Light Series deck, the energy coming in representing that is the Five of Wands. So when I think of wands, we think of work, right? And I really feel like the Five of Wands coming up for us here in the reverse. You could be coming out of a work situation that was just totally crazy, hectic, right? And so I do feel like you're coming out of this chaos, right? Embracing some sort of a path to illumination. And what that means to me, I do feel as though there will be some secrets, or have been some secrets that have been brought to the light, right? And so whether that is an actual piece of information being revealed to you to contend with, or that was something that you found out about yourself, right? Learned about yourself, or understood that you were being triggered for some reason. You were starting to bring some of those shadows into the light, right? Some of that shadow aspect of yourself. Why am I being triggered? And how can I work with this energy, integrate it into more of our light being, right? Bring it into the light to heal it. So whether this was a low self-esteem issue, whether this was sitting in a space of being a victim, I feel as though you're integrating some of this. You're learning how to handle conflict as a result of some of that chaos within that work environment, right? And you're learning how you specifically have handled conflict and how you can do things in a better way, right? And I feel like the environment possibly that you were in within that workspace was more something that was, I don't really know if toxic would be the right word, but that is what I feel is coming up, right? So I feel like it's more like it was growing like a weed. When we think of our weeds, if they're in our garden, they can grow and they can absorb all of the nutrients and things that you need for like the real meat of your garden, the things that you need for nutrition, whether that is your vegetables or your fruits, whatever you're growing, or the beautiful flowers, right? And so this weed kind of like takes all of the nutrients, or sometimes it overgrows those plants, right? And so I feel like it kind of like chokes off the supply a little bit, right? Where it wraps around the healthy plants and stunts their growth. And so essentially, this is what I feel could have been happening within your work situation. Or, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a work situation. It could be however this resonates for you. It could have been within a relationship. But, you know, I feel like this really had put you in a space where you were no longer able to grow. You've learned all you could learn from that situation, and it didn't resonate for you anymore. And so you kind of outgrew that, right? And so you were ready to move on. And so this is where that Tower moment comes in. Something had to change. And if you didn't change it, well, here you go. The universe changed it for you. They took your hand right out of it, and boom, they have put you in a space where you are out of that situation, whether or not you like that. So whether you lost your job, got laid off, something like that, or maybe perhaps a breakup, right? Somebody broke up with you, right? However that looks. So you are out of that situation, out of that chaos, right? And so, I feel as though that's where, you're kind of holding yourself back. That's some of the negative things that you had to kind of contend with through the first 6 months of the year, right? But what I feel overall through that first 6 months was, being shown this daisy though, right? And it's this very symbolic flower for this hope, right? This renewed hope that kind of comes after, right? After this rain that you have to deal with, right? And I'm very drawn to like the yellow center of that, right? Like the sun, right? The joy, the energy that kind of accompanies that, right? The warmth with that. And so I feel like this new beginning is something that is going to bring you so much joy. And so right now you may be still sitting in that space and working through some of that victim stuff, right? Where like, man, I can't believe it. I lost that. And like, what am I going to do? Right. Choose to see it differently and choose to see that on the other side of this, the sun still rises and it's still very beautiful. And so whatever is coming in for you, be open to that. Try to remain open to what is coming in. And so really beautiful energy here. Now with this daisy, there is a message here. Of course, this is also associated with the Norse mythology of the goddess Freya. And so this is, a very loving, gentle goddess, right? And it can be very representative. She can be very representative of blessings and fertility and all of that. But then on the other side of that, man, she can be a fierce warrior. And I feel as though you have kind of shaped yourself and molded yourself as a result of your lessons that you've learned perhaps in that old situation into a little Freya, right? Where you're like, okay, the side of me that you see will be dependent on how you treat me, right? So your external environment is very much going to play a part in how you respond, right? So if somebody treats you with respect and all of that, then you give them respect and you're very gentle and loving and you bless those around you, right? But then if somebody has crossed your boundary, boy, they're going to know it. You're going to let them know. And so I feel as though there was this energy here of you kind of pushing yourself to your limits. That's the positive that you got out of the first 6 months, right? Like you really got yourself into a space where like, I know my limitations. I know how far I can be pushed until all of the buttons are pushed, and then I have to respond and let somebody know. And, also not only just within personal interactions, but pushing yourself to your limits in terms of knowing your worth, knowing how far you will go in terms of reaching your desires, right? And wanting to achieve your goals. And so you have set yourself into a space where you're no longer tempting fate, right? You're no longer glamorizing this ability to put so much weight on your shoulders and my gosh, I can do this all and I can achieve this all, but shifting now into a space of collaboration and knowing how to collaborate and when to collaborate and playing to your strengths and allowing them to play to your weaknesses. And so it's this beautiful play, this beautiful dynamic of this energy that comes in with that. And so shifting into this collaboration, that's okay. We are here to support one another. We are able to do that. And so moving into this June, throughout the rest of this month and then through the rest of the year, looking through December now, what energy comes up is we have four cards actually came up. So I'm going to show you. We have Knight of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles, and the Ten of Swords. Okay? So this is really like an energy that's going to be coming in very slowly, right? I do feel as though this is a transition phase very much. The next 6 months will be, a transition for you, a phase. It's going to last as long as you need it to. It will last as long as you allow it to. In other words, how you process your emotions and move through this energy, it's personalized, it's individualized, and it will allow you to move and to create as you feel called and as you need, but while you're honoring all of the internal beliefs that are coming up, the internal system, the shadows that we have to confront, right? And so, that is seeing things in perhaps a new light, a new perspective. And I feel with this, it is about not seeing it as like one disaster after another, one calamity, right, after another. Because I do feel as though this is where you might have had a shift like in the first 6 months and some changes in the first 6 months. I do feel as though you will feel another shift in the next 6 months, right? I do feel like this is also going to be one where there will be some sort of a personal loss. So, and it could be another big one, right? So perhaps you shifted in your career in the first 6 months. It will also be maybe perhaps another shift in the relationship aspect, right? Or vice versa. Perhaps it was the relationship aspect and now it's going to be the career. And so, I feel like this is definitely going to be some big energy as you're moving through the next 6 months as well, for you to just allow yourself to sit with these emotions and work through that. Now, I do feel like you are given an opportunity or blessed with an opportunity. I do feel like you are going to you're going to be a little bit unsure at first. Like you're not going to be sure if this is going to be an opportunity for you, but that energy is going to sit with you for just a little while, so you have a little bit of time to decide. But I do feel like this is going to be one where it's going to kind of make or break you, and you're going to have to definitely make the choice and be a little bit of a self-starter here, right? When we look at this Five of Pentacles, that key to unlock that door, it isn't going to happen to jump up there and unlock that door for you and open for you. You will have to take some sort of an action to make that happen. Get up, grab the key, unlock the door, right? So whether this is an action on your part of signing yourself up for some sort of a class, or something of the sort, I feel like there's going to be some sort of a learning curve here for you, in terms of you are not going to be able to respond how you used to. Once you start to actually set this in motion, get the key and open the door, in order for you to succeed, you are going to have to navigate the energy entirely different than how you've ever moved before, right? And so that's what's going to help you to succeed, is to do things differently. And so you're going to be acting on those strengths that we talked about. Now, one of your strengths here, and I feel like you're going to surprise yourself throughout all of this, because this is what's going to propel you down the path of success the most, is that perhaps you've shifted from a space where you are, maybe you were a little bit more conservative and not really willing to take a lot of risks. And now you might be shifting into a space where you are really ready to take some risks, to make things happen for yourself, right? And this could be coming from, I don't want to say it's from a place of desperation, right? But it's from a place of, I want this, I know I want this, and this is how badly I want this, and I'm no longer willing to compromise because I know that I deserve this, right? So you've worked through some of that. And so it's a beautiful energy to be sitting in. And so I feel as though, it is what the learning curve here kind of attests to is when I look at this card, this Ten of Swords, the phrase that Spirit says was like, where the crow flies, right? And you see all the birds flying in this. There's 10 of them because it's 10 of Swords. It is a short distance that the birds, the crows, will fly to get their food. So if you're walking on foot, say, it's going to be, several miles before you get to that food source or that food supply. The bird is going to take like a shortcut, a beeline, right? And it's perhaps only going to be like a mile, right? But they're flying, so it's going to be fast anyways. But the whole point of this is where you have to kind of like take that step back and realize, am I making this harder than it is for myself? Are there shortcuts that I can make to get myself through to the other side of this? And so, I feel like the greater the risk that you put up front, the greater the leap of faith, the greater the reward will be for you on the other side of that. And so that's beautiful. One of the negative aspects that you'll have to kind of contend with here in the next 6 months, though, would be you have to be careful not to fall into that trap where you get into your head a little bit, where you can sit into some pessimism, where you can have lack of focus, or you could feel left out, right? Or you're focusing on the fact that others are doing things and doing really well, where you're comparing yourself to somebody else, or you're focusing on your lack, like, I can't do that because I don't have this, right? So making sure that you're not getting into a space where you're feeling limitations based on your thoughts, right? Don't get in your head about things, but really allow yourself to get in a space where you're believing in yourself instead, okay? So again, acting on your strengths. And so I feel like what the whole transition phase is a lot of that length of that is going to be based on the fact of whether you decide, right, to begin again. Because I feel as though you could be sitting in a space where you're not sure, right? And that lack of action, that inaction, that confusion that you're sitting in could just prolong that transition phase. Once you actually make that decision to start again, you will be in a space where you can definitely let go of old energies, you can welcome in the new, and then it will just be about making sure that you're committed to that follow through to achieve what you want to achieve, right? And so that's why I say this transition phase for you, it's going to last as long as you need it to, or last as long as you'll allow it to. And again, that's working with that shadow. Are you sitting back in your comfort zone because of that fear? Or is it because you're feeling as though you don't deserve those things? Or is it because, you're feeling like low self-esteem, like you can't do those things, right? This is something that you have to start to work through now. And even if you start with baby steps, that will get you to where you need to be, right? It will start to increase and bolster that confidence. And that's why I did that video, of course, on Archangel Sandalphon. If you haven't caught that, to help you, you can call him in to help you with your bolstering your confidence and getting you to the other side of that, to start to take baby steps and instill confidence in yourself, in getting yourself into a space where this is what you deserve. This is something that you're going to decide to go after, right? And so this is a beautiful reading here for you, air signs, and I do so hope that this next 6 months is everything that you have ever hoped for and more. And if you're looking for your own personal reading, I'd love to be able to do that for you. You can, of course, hit me up in the Messenger on Messenger, or you can book a session with me in the description box below here on YouTube. Don't forget to like and share if you feel compelled to as well. And if you're interested in just emailing me because you just want to hit me up and have a question or whatever, you can email me as well, enchantedemeraldny@gmail.com. As always, until next time, please be kind to one another. Take care.